Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Nettleton, and today we are doing this painting. It's a cute little sketch that I did when I was doing some plein air painting at Coronation Park in Oakville. So my students are all here ready to get painting, so let's go join them. We're going to learn stuff like how to put things in the background and the middle ground and the foreground, how to create shadows, how to use the pens. This got at the end after everything's dry. You do the pen work and you do it very loosely and sketchy, and it's not about outlining or like a coloring book. We don't want to do that. We want it to be artsy. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to start off with some yellow. We're going to go with the lightest color first. And I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to make the willow tree be in front of that fir tree. Okay, so I've wet it first, wet my paper first because I want it to, the colors to flow. So I got my cadmium yellow out and I'm very quickly brushing on some cadmium yellow. This is a tea consistency. And while we have that out, we'll go over to this weeping willow tree over here and add some yellow to that as well. Then in the foreground here, we'll do a couple swipes of yellow too. That should give us the atmosphere of a nice hot day, summer's day. Now, while this is still a little wet, it's damp, and so the colors will now flow into one another. We want to get a middle tone of the green. So we'll go Cobalt Blue, and I forgot to wet my palette. Yeah. Okay, Cobalt Blue and sap green. We're going to make some lines that are sort of pointed. They're pointed and then they flow up, okay? And try not to make them even like a fence or something like that. I'm just adding in more green here because that was a little bit too blue. We want to keep the yellow at the top. So that's where the sun is hitting the hardest. And that same color is found in the weeping willow tree over on the other side. So again, that's cobalt blue and sap green. And you want to make clumps. Weeping willows grow in like clumps. And while we have that color out, let's just add a little bit under that bush on the right hand side. Maybe a few streaks in the grass. Well, so far so good. Let's work on this tree back here. I would call that a blue spruce because it's kind of bluish, bluey green. And so to make the blue green, we'll use Cobalt Blue, a little bit of sap green, and then a little bit of raw umber. And that should give you what you're looking for. We're going to leave light spots in this, so just think about keeping some white in there. Now I'm going to make a mixture that's a little bit thicker with Cobalt Blue, sap green, and raw umber. So that would be more of a creamy consistency. And then I'm going to add in, especially on the left hand side, that's where the shadows would be. I'm going to add in some shadows with the tip of my brush. So when a tree is, you're looking at a tree, the outside branches, on some of them, they flip up, right? Or they kind of bend down. But when it gets to the middle ones, they're coming at you. So they have to be kind of like this. So side is like this. And coming at you, they're like kind of like this. All right, so when you're painting this, just think about where your brush strokes are, what they're saying, because they should be describing the actual tree that you are painting. Be pretty dark near the bottom. We'll come back and do some more in there. Get it darker later. Right. Well, right now we have Cobalt Blue and sap green out and raw umber. So we will mix those colors and then we will add some ultramarine blue. And we're going to have a dark, dark green. Now I got to check my color. Yeah, that's too green, too dark. Go a little lighter. Okay, so now we have this dark green, and we're going to use that for shadows up in this willow up here, okay? So the shadows are on the left-hand side of the bunches. And remember, you're not making fence posts, so don't make them all exactly the same. And make them curvy. And then when you get to the top, you can dip your brush in water and then pull up these colors so that they fade in and you don't have abrupt lines there. And in case you're wondering, I'm using a 6 round brush. And we can also use some of that color in this willow tree here, especially down at the bottom. There'd be a lot of shadow there. That was that mixture of ultramarine blue, sap green, and raw umber. And I think there was some cobalt in that too. So our next endeavor will be the tree trunk. So that's just some burnt sienna. We'll put a very light, you don't even have to wet it first, put a very light coat of burnt sienna on the trunk of this tree. And then we go into raw umber, and on the left hand side where the shadows, most of the shadows would be, we put some right on the edge. And with a little bit of that burnt sienna and brown, raw umber, we're going to make a shadow in this bush. So this has a lot of green in it, and so to make the green stand out, we should have some reds. So we'll take some alizarin crimson, put a little bit in here, and I'm going to put a little bit into this tree here, and it will just have little bits that people won't really notice, but it'll make the green stand out nicely. Well, I want to talk about composition. So this pathway here gives you an S composition that causes your eye, leads your eye through the painting. You don't want things to lead your eye out of the painting. For instance, if I had a big triangle shape here in the corner, that would just lead the eye right out in, off the page, and then it's no longer interesting to the viewer. Okay, let's see, what will we do next? So let's work on this background here. So we'll just go straight this background behind the weeping willow here. I'm just going to use straight sap green, and then some really dark green, that stuff that we made with ultramarine blue, sap green, and raw umber. I'll put that really dark stuff right in here. And I want a thick consistency, so I want it to be not have a lot of water in it. And here's a fun fact. If you don't have olive green and you would like to have olive green, you take cadmium yellow and add a little bit of black, and that gives you olive green. A nice olive green. And I'm going to take that olive green and put it right here. Make it a little bit greener.
You added black to yellow?
Yep. Add black to yellow, and that gives you olive green.
Cadmium yellow?
Cadmium yellow. So I've got that color back in the background here, and then I'm going to get a brighter color as I come forward. So to that mixture, I'll add some sap green. And I'm just brushing it over very quickly. And while that's still wet, I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and some sap green, and I'm going to make some dark shadows on the grass. So notice where you had shadows going across the path. Well, continue those shadows with the dark green. While I have that dark green out, I'm adding all right, we're doing a great job. All right, so let's work on this tree on the right hand side. And this one is, there's a lot of shadow in this tree. So I'm going to take sap green and raw umber and a bit of ultramarine blue. And now I've got a really dark olive green. Now, careful you don't overdo it. And just add in some branches. Remember, some of those lines are coming at you. I'll go into some ultramarine blue, just straight ultramarine blue. I'm going to add a little more blue in some areas here where it's already painted. Now it's time to be brave and put some dark shadows. The dark shadows will make it look like a hot summer's day. So to make those dark shadows, we're going to use ultramarine blue and sap green. And just let me check and see. A little more blue in it, make it darker. Yeah. So, dark green under this tree. Dark green on the grass here.
Dark green under the bush.
And then if your grass is dry, you can go with a rigger. Load up the brush. The rigger has the long bristles. Load up your brush with some sap green and ultramarine blue, and we put little wispy things of grass here and there. Bigger, longer ones near the front, the lower part. The ones that are closest to you are larger, and the ones that are further away are small. Okay, I have to get my tree in the foreground darker. That tree is in the, well, as I said, it's in the foreground, and so it can be, the contrast can be very strong. Things that are in the background or further back, they're lighter colors, and when it comes to the foreground, that should be dark colors or high contrast, so that, you know, the light colors in the object are stand out against the dark colors. So I'm using ultramarine blue and sap green. I think I've gotten a little wild on this tree here, so I'm going to take some of those colors out and make them softer. And I'm just doing that with a damp paper towel. Just give it a little rub, I'll let it dry, and then I'll work on that some more. I need some more darks in here. A little bit darker around that tree. I'm just going into ultramarine blue. Get some of those darker values in the grass. Work on the pathway. So that was that purpley blue color. That was made with Alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue and a little bit of raw umber. And then with that same purple and a little bit more water, I'm going to do a little bit of splatter so that it looks like stones. I want to make this softer. So dampen a paper towel and just wipe it a little bit. Put some color on. And now it's softer. I think it's time to take my rigger and add some more grasses. I could use a little bit of yellow ochre grasses in here too. Just sort of, they have this tree here, or this bush here, that's a color that's sort of all by itself. And so you need to add some of this yellow ochre in different places to give us color harmony. And these tufts of grass should have a shadow. So right now this painting is looking rather bland, like it needs some oomph, and so we'll do that with the pens. So we're using 005 pen, waterproof pen, 05 pen, and a 08 pen. So the 005 has the smallest tip. So that would be the things in the background. Okay, so right along the shore here, I'm making some lines, and I'm not outlining, I'm just making little suggestive lines, and I'm putting a few branches in the bush there, and adding a few little flicks of pen to suggest that there's grass or something in the grassy area. I think that's all we'll do with that one. Now we'll go to the middle size one, so that would be 05, and just suggest these lines in the tree. Don't make them all the same, make them random. A little bit in this tree here, remembering that the branches on the outside sort of stick out and the branches in the middle come at you, so you have to make different marks for them. And now I want to distinguish this weeping willow from the blue spruce, so I use these lines to do that. I'm switching back to the finer tip here for the tree trunk. Now I'm going to go to the 8 and work on this pathway. So again, not outlining. These pens are really nice for signing as well. Now, if you feel like your painting's not done, you want to add more color to it, don't worry, because this is waterproof pen, so you should be able to add color without it bothering the pen work.